Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is treatment of the solid waste, that is how solid waste should be treated. So first of all, introduction. Solid waste refers to all non-liquid waste. If not correctly disposed of, waste may provide breeding site for the insect, vectors, pests that increase the likelihood of disease transmission, that is there are more chances of the spreading of the disease. So it may also pollute the water sources and the environment also. So there are various sources and the types of the solid waste also. Basically two sources are there. First is the waste from household, and second is the waste from the commercial sources. First is, that is the food waste, animal waste, recyclable waste are there, non recyclable, and biomedical and hazardous waste. And in case of commercial one, institutional waste, the waste from small scale industries, waste from hotels and the markets. Then the factors affecting the type and the quantity of the waste. So the quantity of the waste and its factors, we can say, depend on various things. First is the geographical region, then the socio-cultural practices of a particular region, the seasonal variation, that is whether a cold climate or hot climate, stage of emergency, that is disposal emergency, and the material level among the affected population, that is how much a population discard the waste. So the initial steps in the solid waste management, first of all we have to identify the type of waste, whether it is degradable or non-degradable, recyclable or non-recyclable. Then identify the source of the waste, that is from where it should be generated. Okay, and then determine the potential health hazard that is from the waste, that is how much health hazard a particular waste can cause. Determine the volume of the waste that is generated. Okay, the quantity generally. Identify safe collection methods, that is we have to dispose of the waste very carefully. Identify safe transportation methods and identify safe disposal methods. So the key components of solid waste management are as follows. There are basically 5 key components. First is the generation. So it is the stage at which materials become valueless to the owner. Okay, and since they have no use for them and require them no longer, they wish to get rid of that waste. That is, it is the stage at which waste is generated, that is they are of no particular use for the owner. Then the second is storage. So it is a system for keeping the materials after they have been discarded and prior to the collection and the final disposal, that is before the collection and disposal, storage step is basically present. So in determining the size, the quantity and the distribution of the storage facility, number of users, type of the waste and maximum walking distance must be considered. Basically improved storage facilities include, for the storage purpose, are small containers, that is for household containers or plastic bins are used. Large containers, for example communal bins, oil drums, shallow pits and communal depots, that is walled or fenced in areas, that is basically this is for the storage of the waste. Then collection. So it simply refers to how waste is collected for transportation and to the final disposal site. Any collection system should be carefully planned to ensure that storage facilities do not become overloaded. Collection interval and volume of the collected waste must be estimated carefully. So this step should be used carefully. Then transportation. So this is the stage when solid waste is transported to final disposal site. And last, that is the disposal. So the final stage of solid waste management is safe disposal, where associated risks are minimized. 4 methods are there, for example land application, burial or landfilling, composting, burning or incineration, and recycling, that is resource recovery. So the mechanical biological treatment, MBT method. So these are pre-treatment technologies for any waste treatment. It provides a diversion of the solid waste from direct exposure of the base. So basically these are used to discard the solid waste so that it will not come into direct contact with any person. So first is the landfilling. So here, all types of inert, remaining and residual part of waste treatment, that is organic waste, are dumped in the lands, which are the major source of greenhouse gases also, that is CO2 and CH4. It ranked lowest in quality of waste management. So landfilling are, we can say, the lowest quality of waste management methods. So here in this diagram, a new refuse is added, a pit is made. Okay, this is the ground level, then stage 1 and stage 2, that is this is the earlier refuse, and after that backfill with excavated soil after each day of waste shift, and over that again new waste should be added. So this is the stage 2. So stage 3, all refuses are there and above them backfill with the excavated soil, and here the previous day refuse. So this will go on adding like that. So simple landfilling process is there. Then advantages of landfilling. First is no need of highly skilled employees, basically transportation of the waste and then dumping into the pits. Then low cost for the waste treatment, basically dumping is required, so no cost, it is not costly. Highly potential for gas recovery, that is we can say various gases can be recovered from here, and through burning organic waste leads net gain for the environment. So disadvantages are also there. First is costly transportation to dumping the land sites, that is basically land sites are far away from the residential places, so it will require transportation cost. Then they are major source of greenhouse gases, that is harmful for environment. They need a large area of the land for dumping also, and contaminate both the ground as well as the surface water. Then second method is the composting method. So microorganisms play the main role here for decomposition in the various environment like warm, moist, aerobic, that is presence of oxygen, and anaerobic, that is in the absence of oxygen. It is basically effectively applied in the agricultural lands where the, we can say, the traces of the crops or the vegetable mulches or the leaves, okay, they are used here. So advantages, first is augmentation in micronutrient deficiencies and improvement in soil texture, that is by this process, if a soil is deficient in a particular micro or macronutrient, this problem will be solved by that. Then reduce dependency on the chemical fertilizers in the agricultural field, as they will provide a manure with a very good property, and also it is simple and cost effective. Then there are some disadvantages also. Not suitable for all type of the waste, large open land required, again as in case of we can say landfilling. Composting plant emits methane, odors and flies. So here compost, macroorganism, insects are there, microorganism, that is bacteria and fungi are there. Okay, water is required, air is required, heat is released. Okay, brown leaves, that is straw, and green, that is grass or manure are added, and at last compost is obtained. Then vermicomposting. So it is a process where biodegradable part of the solid waste which is composted with the assistance of earthworms. Okay, so here use of earthworm is needed. Ferritima species or Icinia species of the earthworms are responsible for the generation of vermicompost, as these two species are mainly we can say important for the vermicomposting process. So introduction of toxic material in the waste can kill these earthworms. So there is an disadvantages also in this method, that is if a waste contain toxic material, then this will harm the earthworm, and the process require a large area of land composting, again just like the composting method and the landfilling method. Then the next is anaerobic digestion and methanation. So the main objective of this is generation of biogas, which contain 50 to 60% of the methane through composting of organic waste. Efficiency and energy recovery of biomethanation are better than composting because here more amount of methane gas is obtained. These plants need less land area and treating in a closed system. But this method is only suitable for again biodegradable organic waste, that is its disadvantage also. Okay, so here basically the diagram of biogas plant is added, which we will be going to discuss in the later videos. So now the thermal treatment. Earlier we have studied about the mechanical treatment. Now the thermal treatment. So the main aim of this is to minimize the release of the toxic waste and the treatment of the residual part. First is the incineration method. So it is subjected to disposal of the solid waste through high temperature combustion in control with the proper way. Temperature range between 980 to 2000 degrees Celsius. So at this rate, waste are converted into as a residual part with emission of gaseous product gas only. So this process leads to destruction of the toxic materials as well as recovery of energy also took place. So advantages of incineration: this process is noise free, odorless, okay, no we can say foul smell should be there, and hygienic. These thermal plants can be constructed nearer to the source of the waste, that is they do not require much land, which will minimize the transportation cost also. But there are some disadvantages also, as these cause potential emission of the pollutants such as the dioxins, furans and PAHs. Then it needs large operation and high maintenance cost with skilled personnel, so it requires skilled personnel. So this is a diagram representing incineration process. First is waste storage, then its preparation, combustion at a high temperature, handling ash is obtained and its particular disposal. Then gas is obtained at temperature reduction should be done, heat recovery, air pollution control should be there, okay, with the installation of a fan, okay, and emission stack and scrubber or water for the disposal. That is, if waste water is disposed of, it should be firstly treated with that only. Then second method is the pyrolysis method. So a substance when thermally degraded without oxygen, that process is known as pyrolysis. So it requires temperature range between 300 to 850 degrees Celsius and a continuous external heat source is required. Synthetic gas and char are the waste material of pyrolysis, whereas syngas, that is like CH4, CO and H2 are the major content in these. These gases further can be used for fuel oil generation and condensed for wax and tar preparation. So it has use in that also. So this is the diagram representing pyrolysis method. Biomass, then it's drying, grinding, and in reactor, that is above 500 degrees Celsius temperature, char process or heat, okay, is exported from here. Rapid char removal from that is the byproduct, and at last, that is gas is formed, or we can say the bio oil is produced. Then gasification, so partial oxidation process of the substances with insufficient oxygen, that is neither absence nor completely presence of oxygen, and it result in a process between the combustion and the pyrolysis. So operating temperature between 650 degrees Celsius of this exothermic reaction. In this exothermic means heat is released in this. Advantage is it does not emit any toxic gas like SOx, NOx, okay, because of insufficient oxygen. And disadvantage is that it needs high amount of financial support, okay, and the power source also, and efficiency can be affected by the presence of high moisture and inert content in the waste. So this is the diagram, that is the difference between the gasification and combustion. In case of combustion, flue gas is formed. In case of gasification, producer gas, okay, and biomass is inserted, and this reaction took place here. Then refuse derived fuel, that is RDF. It is useful for producing the improvised solid fuel. It is also capable of reduction of pollution and more in recovery of the energy. So these are the various waste collection method. Okay, first is material recovery, reprocess and again recycled material should be there. In case of composting, compost is formed. Energy recovery, okay, land in case of landfill, gas recovery took place, okay, and during that landfill air emission took place, water discharge should be there, and residual waste is also generated. So this is a diagram showing the cross section of a landfill. Here 0.15 m of a topsoil, then below that a drainage layer, then geomembrane, then of clay, then again soil, then waste, then drainage layer, and simultaneously the layer will go on. And this is a, we can say, recyclable method. First is the prevention, that is waste should not be generated at all, and then its reuse, then recycle, then recovery, and at last the disposal. So it is the least favored option, and the prevention of generating the waste is the most favored option. So yeah, this is all about the solid waste management. Hope you will like my video, and if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel.